Is the record $12.9 million card sale a sign that the market is hot as ever and will continue to push up in the months and years to come? Or could it be a dangerous sign that the market has hit its top and may start to crash downward from here? There is some historical precedence that might be the case, and now might be the time to be careful. We'll tell you about it and debate it now. Hello, sports card investors, and welcome to another episode of Cards on the Table. Teapot Carter, I saw you guys. I saw you late Saturday night into the Sunday morning, wee hours of the morning. You were back there in the back of Cards HQ, popping your Dom Perignon. Every time that exquisite Logo Man card went up another $1 million, $8 million, $9 million, $10 million. You were eating the caviar. You were ordering a private jet. I saw you guys. Teapot was saying, we're vindicated. It shows, it proves that sports cards are an actual investment.
Drummond collection to the moon.
To the moon. I heard all of that. But were you guys actually celebrating the top and the beginning of the fall? Because unfortunately, there are a couple of warning signs right now. I got to bring you guys back down to earth a little bit. Put that caviar away. Put a cork back in the champagne, and let's talk about what's happening for real in the sports card market. Of course, everybody out there knows that we just had that record sale. The card I'm talking about, the 2007-2008 Upper Deck Exquisite Michael Jordan Kobe Bryant dual Logo Man auto 1-of-1 that sold for $12.9 million over the weekend at Heritage Auctions. The most expensive card sale of all time, breaking the Mickey Mantle 1952 Topps SGC 9.5. And of course, it was bought by Shine, a well-known collector, and Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, along with another investor. They came in on this together. It's been the big news all week, and a lot of people are now starting to predict that this is just another sign that sports cards are just continuing to take off and being really seen as a true investment asset class. And look, there's a lot of signs that say that's the case. Last month, we set a record for the second straight month of the most sales of cards online in history. $308 million transacted online last month. We're beating the all-time COVID highs. August may beat July. We may see another record, especially with sales like this. Also, across all the auction houses, we're seeing record sale after record sale after record sale, and it's not just the $12.9 million cards. It's cards all the way on down the board, even cards like Ken Griffey Jr.'s 1989 Upper Deck, which is at an all-time high. Michael Jordan's 1986 Fleer in lower grades. Some of those lower grades are now at all-time highs. So it's not just your $1 million cards, it's your thousands of dollars cards, which are setting all-time high marks as well. The entire market seems like it is extremely hot right now. All of this sounds great, but I have to remind you guys, and I have to remind the audience out there, that back on January 30th of 2021, two Michael Jordan 1986 Fleer PSA 10 rookie cards both sold that night at auction for $738,000 each. And people were drinking their champagne and eating their caviar that night as well, thinking their entire sports card collection was going to the moon. But in reality, that night signaled the absolute top of the sports card market, and it started falling in the weeks after that, and it started falling hard. And the sports card market went down through all of 2021, and it went down through 2022. And then in the summer of 2022, August of 2022, that is when the 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle SGC 9.5 went up for auction at Heritage. That sold for $12.6 million and set the all-time record for the highest sports card sale until this card, the exquisite Logo Man, just beat it. And when that card sold for $12.6 million, there were some that said this will have a halo effect. It's going to change the tides of the sports card market. Sports cards are going to start rising again. This sale will change everything. And it did not. And the sports card market as a whole continued to drop after that sale through the rest of 2022. And then through most of 2023, the market continued to drop until things finally plateaued and then started to tick back up. And they went back up in 2024. And now here we are with 2025 really rising again. So considering all of this, we now have another all-time high record sale. We now have the big celebration moment, the victory laps that the hobby has been taking all week. Should collectors out there be excited about the heat of the hobby and all of these record sales, or should they be scared that history could be repeating itself and the market may soon fall backwards again? Teapot, I'm going to start with you.
I don't think collectors care about that sale in general, most of them, 99%. Newsworthy, absolutely. Like, it's a big deal. There's a lot of people who are like angry about it, filling up their Instagram feeds or their YouTube videos and all those things. It's a very important sale. It's the most expensive sports card sale in history. So it's newsworthy. Most people aren't collecting anywhere near that stratosphere. Most people are collecting cards anywhere from 25 cents to $50. That's the vast majority of people. That's why our value boxes are always hot here. And then you start to move up, and the more expensive the cards, the fewer the people are who are after those. What this sale signals is that the people at the highest upper tier echelons are very serious about viewing these things as alternative investments, as a great financial opportunity. And that's what they're treating this as. I would like to know how many collectors were in the mix toward the end of that bidding on that card, because I have to imagine there were a few, at least up until the $7 to $8 million point. There had to have been people who were like, I want this card for my PC. I want this card. It's very important. Less about maybe the financial motivation. Not that they don't care about that, but this was three wealthy individuals using this card as an opportunity to go on to CNBC and springboard a new venture that is about alternative investments for that purpose. So it's a little bit of a different thing. What we've seen over the last year, if I look at our SCI 500 on Market Pulse in the last 365 days, it's up 19%. That's significant growth. A lot of other financial markets are right around that number too. I just got done reviewing my last year's performance with my fiduciary, and I had a lot of stuff that was right around that 18 to 20%. It's been a great year overall for a lot of different things, but that's the like healthy-ish number, and these are on the most iconic cards of all eras. So it's not surprising to see that. A lot of other sports indexes are in that like 8 to 15% range. So that's healthy growth. This mega sale to me doesn't signal some harbinger of death or of boom. It just shows that at the highest of the high end, there are a lot of people who are interested in those cards. The super high end market in general, even for cards in like 4-figure and up range, is actually performing really strong right now. I made a video this last week on the Market Movers channel talking about how I'm going through some consolidation, and I have a chart that shows what I believe the typical hobby journey is for most people from 3 to 5 years, 2 to 5 years, kind of where you go in terms of how you consolidate. I think it'd be a great video for you and I to talk about on your podcast sometime, because it really resonates every time I show it to people. Comment, like, that's my story, that's my story. So could the reason that so many of these high-end cards are going to the moon now, or at least rising significantly, be that a lot of people got back into sports cards in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and they're hitting that 3 to 5 year point of maturity in their hobby journey where they're going, I'd rather sell all these $50 to $500 cards that I bought and buy a $10,000 card that I really like and that I actually believe has more staying power from an investment perspective. It's interesting food for thought. Cool sale. I'd love to know who else, if anybody ever wanted to come forward and say I was in the mix on that card too. That's always what I'm curious about. But I don't think this signals anything in terms of decline or demise or anything. Numbers month over month, new hobbyists. The hobby's alive, as our friend Seablaz would say.
So steady growth, the pattern of the last year. If you're not at the highest end, we're jumping up. We're jumping, it seems. Yeah. As you go below that, you go to cards that are a little more
steady,
affordable, definite growth, definite cards that are pushing up record prices. It does feel a little more precise than it did back during COVID when every single card went up, right? And we were talking about this during COVID. It was like, your Zion Williamson base rookie cards were going to the moon, right? Base Prism, base Topps Chrome, everything to the moon. That's not happening today. Today, it's the iconic stuff, and even the less expensive iconic stuff, but the iconic stuff, your Ken Griffey Jr. rookies, those types of cards are the ones that are pushing up and setting a lot of records. But Teapot feels steady goes it. We're okay. Don't get panicked about this sale, but don't get excited about it either. Carter, do you share that viewpoint?
I don't really view this as an indicator for the market anymore. The real indicator of our collecting market is demand. And right now, we see demand on all cylinders, at the high-end levels and at the low-end levels. We see it. I think that one of the big indicators is the National Fanatics Fest, shows around the country, shops opening around the country, businesses reporting that they're hitting record growth as well, right on the smaller level. That's where collectors should be either concerned or excited about. And right now, it's an exciting point for the hobby overall because demand is there. So for me, the 12.9 million is super exciting as someone that's been in the industry for a while. And I'm actually really excited personally that it's a basketball card. I think we're kind of used to it being a baseball card, right, with Mickey Mantle.
Yeah, we're used to it being vintage. Honus Wagner,
vintage.
Mickey
Always
Mantle.
vintage in baseball.
Right.
Here it is. Now all of a sudden it's basketball.
So this is, to me, if you want to look really long term, this is starting to turn the tide, I think, potentially for football down the line, because football is one of the hottest markets, but we don't have any football cards near those records at the time, right? But what are Mahomes cards going to be down the line? Potentially what could Mahomes Black Finite sell for 20 years from now? Stuff like that, right? A Tom Brady big one-on-one, something like that. Right, this is setting up things for way beyond in the future for me, not just today.
Football is interesting to think about because it's so popular among sports fans. It's the biggest opportunity for fanatics when they talk about wanting to 10x the number of collectors. Football is the biggest opportunity they have in the United States to do that. Soccer is the biggest opportunity they have globally. Football is the biggest opportunity in the United States to get a lot of those NFL fans in it. And we were talking yesterday on our Breaks channel on Whatnot, there's 5 times the number of people participating in football live streams, at least right now. And of course, seasonally, we're at the beginning of the football season, but even in the off season, you're seeing football trump basketball and baseball in terms of interest, but that hasn't translated to the high end of the market.
Right.
In the same way that basketball's high end of the market's taken off, and baseball, particularly with vintage, its high end of the market has taken off. So be interesting to see with football how that plays out over time. That's an interesting observation.
I think the biggest constraint with football is just that we've said this, it's so quarterback heavy.
Yep.
If Fanatics can get more positional players and even start to somehow celebrate defense, I don't know, even dare I say offensive linemen, get more personalities because they're big on that. They do Fanatics Fest and they have people there. They have athletes there, right? And we saw Jaden Daniels and we saw others get more of the positional players celebrated and get people interested in appreciating their skills and collecting them, because it feels so boom or bust when you rip football. It's I didn't get any quarterbacks. I got a gold prism of the 4th best receiver in this rookie class, but nobody cares. Those players matter too. We all play fantasy football, and those guys are important. So
Teapot wants your offensive lineman cards.
I want his Luke Musgrave.
To be worth something. To be worth something out of Topps Chrome when he rips it next year.
Show Joe Thomas some respect.
Okay, I like that.
Love Joe
All right.
Thomas.
Guys, I want to hear your comments out there. What do you think about the state of the market and the impact of this card sale, or maybe the lack of impact on the state of the market, which Teapot and Carter both think to be the case?
Yeah.
Let me know your thoughts in the YouTube comments.
By the way, mock me all you want. You've heard of Jason Kelsey. He's pretty popular. So it just goes to show you.
Jason Kelsey's
can
popular.
be very
All right,
popular.
all right.
Jason, he's got a new sister-in-law.
Let's go.
So I mean, that's all right. Let's rip a couple of Arena Club slab packs. Let's rip an Emerald. Let's go with Teapot first. You ripped an Emerald baseball or basketball pack.
Basketball.
All right, this is always fun. Let's see what you get.
Last
here.
week you shamed me. Oh, hey, wait, what is that?
Dude, look
Kobe.
at that.
Electrifying Kobe.
So
that's out of Elite. That's early Elite. That's
So here's the interesting
2012,
thing.
First year Elite.
Here's the interesting thing. You're saying this sale won't affect anything?
Yeah.
I disagree in that really nice Kobe, really nice Jordan, they're getting a boost from this sale. It's actually already happened. We saw one thing that was really interesting was after that dual logo man sold early Sunday morning, Sunday night on auction at eBay, there were multiple of the Jordan Kobe 1998 Topps All-Star Game front.
It's on a rocket ship.
But Sunday night, they sold for all-time record high prices on eBay, and it was absolutely correlated to the Jordan Kobe dual exquisite. So you're seeing a little bit of that spill over directly into Kobe's market, into Jordan's market. So that's a nice card.
I
for
like
you to
that
pull
card a
today.
lot.
Good
Yeah,
timing. All right,
really cool.
I did a football. We're right here at the start of football season. Go Gators. Get me a DJ Lagway Bowman U. What we got here? Open this pack.
Ooh,
McConkey. You love Georgia guys.
I'm going to give that a half clap because that's a Georgia guy.
Oh, he's a
that's
beast.
a Georgia guy.
Love
But you know
that
what
guy.
that is? That's a blue shimmer number
That's
to 25.
sick. That's sick.
pretty
That's
cool.
actually really nice.
I like the
That is
color
sick.
match.
That is actually really a good card to
Popular
pull
card
from
here.
one of these slab packs. Blue shimmer number to 25
Nice.
of a great young receiver. He's
Yeah.
Herbert's number one target. So I
Yep.
don't mind that at all. And
Go
I tell you
Dogs.
what,
Shifty.
I might have to have Arena Club ship that to me because that'll be trade night.
I think
here.
you should
That'll
keep it
be
in your
in
collection.
Cards
Yeah,
HQ
yeah.
here in Atlanta. Not for the collection.
No, you need it
for trade
yeah,
night.
No, you need it for your Bulldog
For
collection.
trade night.
Right.
All right, guys, you can rip slab packs right now. They've got all the
We got
different
one more.
sports. We got one more?
We got
Did
Carter.
you rip one?
Yeah, I did
Let's see
rip
what
one.
Carter got.
Jeez.
I didn't know Carter
Chopped
ripped one
liver.
today.
Chopped liver.
Oh, let's go.
Zay
Let's
Flowers
go.
downtown.
Ooh, that's a 10 too.
Oh, that's
a
great.
rookie.
That's
a
awesome.
rookie?
Heck yeah.
That's a rookie.
That's
That
a
is a
rookie.
rookie.
That's really nice.
Yep.
That's
I'm pumped
really
about
nice.
that.
I got Lamar, my fantasy team.
You did.
Okay.
I need Zay
Yeah,
Flowers to have a
during
big
the member
season
live
this year.
stream, yeah, we
There you go.
coached you.
Congratulations.
I love it.
Okay, there you go. Now you definitely need to go rip a slab pack because you can see the awesome cards you can get. Go to arenaclub.com or download the Arena Club app. Promo code SCI20. That's the key code, SCI20. Gets you 20% off your first slab pack rip. Don't miss out on promo code SCI20. All right, guys, let's jump into our next story today. Speaking of case hits like downtowns, like Carter just got, what about the Kabooms? Kabooms are here. They've arrived for the 2025 season. Absolute Football, of course, is the product that is ushering in the Kabooms as it does every year. And this year, Panini has decided to shake things up a little bit. So it used to be that there was one type of Kaboom for every player. And then we started seeing, a couple of years ago, I think it was, we started seeing both vertical kabooms and horizontal kabooms for every player. I think that started maybe 2 years ago. Well, this year, Panini's introduced a third type of kaboom, the Super Bowl kaboom. So they're going to have an addition of vertical and horizontal for players who have been in the Super Bowl. They're going to have a special Super Bowl edition kaboom, which will be a kind of an additional chase in the product. Some say this is exciting, this is fun. Getting the Super Bowl kabooms is going to be a kind of a cool new chase, a cool new thing to collect. They had done this in the past with downtowns. There are Super Bowl downtowns of people like Brady and Mahomes. And others, perhaps Teapot, may say this is watering down the product, this is watering down the importance of kabooms, and kabooms are this coveted case hit that everybody loves, but now we've got even more of them. Is that in fact what you say, Teapot? What are your feelings?
No, I don't say this is watering it down. They've been watered down for
boy.
years now.
Okay.
They watered down downtowns. They watered down Color Blast. They watered down everything. The only thing they haven't watered down are the other case hits that people don't know about as much, like blank slates and auroras and stuff like that.
They haven't watered down
These are-
your lawn because you told them
yeah.
to get off it.
Get off of it. They watered. I mean, look, this doesn't surprise me. I have had probably 5 or 6 instances now in the last 2 years where either on this show or on the Market Movers channel, I talk about some idea that I have for cards, and then Topps has actually done those things. I don't know if that's some kind of mystical alignment in the universe that it just happens, or if they actually listen and watch things. But I think Panini does the exact opposite. Whatever I say I don't like, they just do more of. They're like, yeah, let's get him. Let's water it down. They are opening the printing press as much as they can before these licenses shift. And I probably get that. If I'm just putting on my business entrepreneur, ownership revenue cap, this makes sense to me. It makes sense why they're going to do it. And breakers are going to love this. They're going to hit more kabooms. People are going to get excited. There will be a short-term burst over time. We still believe in the staying power of some kabooms. Over time, I think we'll get into the future, and what will happen is people will realize that much like Star Rubies and later year Essential Credentials and other things, the early kabooms that were actually like 60 copies or less are going to be the ones people go after, and the ones from 2025 Absolute Football will be $8 for the wide receiver that nobody cares about later.
$8
Yeah.
for a kaboom.
Go look up later year
Wow.
rubies and things. This is what these are gonna. A lot of these are gonna be.
Wow.
Nothing. Nothing.
I don't know. That's a
Stanky.
strong take. I think we might be a little overstated here by the old teapot. What do you think, Carter?
It's not the holiday season yet, but we have the Hobby Grinch right next to me
Seriously.
today. But yeah, it means watering down. Yeah, I've been on the show when we've talked about vertical color blasts, right, and horizontal downtowns. I'm kind of here for it. I think there's demand for it. I think people want more kabooms.
Man,
I think
it's going to move boxes.
I think there's people ripping more than ever before. I think there's way more people ripping than the first year of kabooms, right? So I think, if they got to produce more, they got to add more kabooms to the product. This is how they do it. I appreciate the variation with the Super Bowl. I like that more than the horizontal and the vertical, so I like the little added rarity aspects. I'll take it. So overall, is it watering down? Sure. We all know they're on the way out. They definitely want to, milk as much as they can here at the end, but I'm here for it while the demand's
Do we know anything about the rarity of the Super Bowl ones
I don't think
compared?
they've said that.
Because if they were like super rare, like sometimes manufacturers do that, like with the home field advantage. There are Legends home field advantage, and they're like 10 times harder to hit. If that were the case, okay, like that's actually smart. Like it's a cool, more limited chase. But I'm just worried that you got all these. It's confusing.
I think
They're not
people
serial
generally like the
numbered.
Super Bowl ones, though. The Super Bowl downtown sometimes historically sell better than the regulars.
I get it.
I'm going to come to the defense of Panini a little bit here and just say they are in a tough position because demand for these products is just been increasing and increasing. I mean, I told you earlier in this show, we were talking about how hot the market is and how, July was an all-time high for the amount of cards sold online. So of course, they are getting all-time high demand for products like Absolute Football.
Yeah.
And if they're going to produce more, then what choice do they have but either creating more downtowns, or kabooms rather in this case, or maybe creating new variations of kabooms, or their other opportunity is they just make them a lot harder to find because they don't create more, but then everybody's mad because you have to rip, a whole bunch of boxes before you ever find one, and so then people get mad. So it's a difficult situation for the manufacturers. I do feel a little bit for Panini here. They want to make people happy and give people a consistent chase that they can try to find, but at the same time, by the very nature of trying to do that and increase print run to meet demand, it naturally kind of, waters the whole thing
The
down.
vertical kabooms last year were significantly more rare than
They
the
were.
horizontals.
That is correct.
Last year, in the last 365 days in Market Movers, Jared Goff, believe it
Yeah.
or not, has sold the most kabooms of any year of any set, and it was the 2024 horizontals, 345 horizontal kabooms. So just know
Yeah,
that.
that's a fairly
just
big
know
number.
that. Because
Yeah.
when the prices come out on the secondary market,
Yeah.
don't conflate it. I would
Yeah.
watch the rarity on them. The verticals should be more rare. Hopefully the Super Bowl ones are too, and in that
Yeah.
case, it's kind of cool, but
Okay. All right. Well, speaking of big numbers and big production runs and all those things, we got a couple of big numbers to share here from PSA. PSA's vault has just hit 1 million cards stored within their vault, which is pretty crazy considering that their vault is pretty new. Like this is a new thing, for PSA. Collector CEO Nat Turner also says there are hundreds of thousands more cards at PSA right now that are getting graded with the vault set to their destination. So this thing is just going to go up like how the market's been going up recently. And PSA is also closing in on 1 million cards sold through its eBay consignment, which launched in spring of 2024. So that thing's been live for only a little bit over a year, and they've already sold almost 1 million cards through that. Are these stats surprising to you? Is vaulting in this kind of system PSA has set up here the future? Were you surprised to see this? Carter, I'll start with you on this
No,
one.
not at all. Collectors and fanatics are building their massive ecosystems, and they're just exploding. We've talked about it in years past that big business is coming, and it's arrived. Like this is a big deal. I think people are opting with how easy they've made it. I think they had a lot of issues early on. Like I don't think it was very convenient for collectors when they first launched the vaulting system with PSA. But today it's super easy. It's super easy if you either through grading or whether you want to send it to them yourselves. I mean, they're doing over 100 events at local card shops around the country this year, and you can submit to the vault directly to them, directly to a PSA representative at one of those events. You can mail it, you can give it to them at a show. I mean, they are making this so accessible for the collectors and making this easy. It's a trusted service. People trust PSA. So I'm not surprised at all, and I expect these numbers to explode here even further, I'm sure.
Is this the future, Teapot?
Are you a big Wiz Khalifa fan? You know Wiz Khalifa?
I do know Wiz Khalifa.
You remember the song? You guys remember the song Black and Yellow? Remember that one?
I don't remember Black and
You
Yellow.
don't remember Black and Yellow?
I don't think I remember Black
You
and
don't
Yellow.
remember-
Maybe if I
You
heard
don't-
it.
When Steelers won the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
that was their
Come on.
song
You don't
against
remember-
the Cardinals.
I think
You know what it is. Everything I do it big. That's what I picture
honest
playing.
to God, I think I'm in a WhatsApp group with Wiz Khalifa.
Honest
to God, I am.
I
can WhatsApp him right now.
I have a term. That's wild.
There's your fact of the day.
He's going to be mad you don't know
There's
the
your
song.
fact of the day.
I have a definition under Teapot from 2014 on Urban Dictionary that is UKWII. You know what it is related to that song. So I'm a published author, not just for the Dummies book, but for that. And why I'm saying that, there's a purpose to this. We got a little off the rails.
Yeah, where are we going with this story?
What
does this have to do with
picture.
the PSA vault?
Big. Everything PSA is doing is big. And I think in song lyrics, Jeff, so that's what I was trying to get to. This got crazy. I just picture that song playing, these lyrics playing, everything, and Nat comes in, he's like, I want to do this thing and make it big and bigger, and they just 1 million cards and 1.5 million cards every month graded. Everything they're doing is very big, massive scale, like Fanatics. Doesn't surprise me, and that's just the mic drop.
Do you think PSA has hired Wiz Khalifa?
They need to now. The collab that is, apparently you've got his number.
I do have his number. Let's do it.
Nat and Wiz.
All right. And then I'll learn this song. We're going to make it big. We're going to make it all big. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's end with a little feel-good story here, guys. This is one you guys are going to want to hear about out there in YouTube land. Comeback Sports Cards. This is cool. A new sports card shop, which is opening in Twin Falls, Idaho. So, a little bit of a background story here. Andrew and Sarah King, they had a son named Ben. Ben was set to play college baseball when he was diagnosed with a brain tumor and suffered a stroke in 2022. He went through a long recovery process. He was in the hospital for, I think, 80 days. Sports cards became a form of therapy. He sorted, organized, and collected to help memory and hand use. And every Saturday at that time, he would go visit a local card shop with his dad as kind of during his rehab. Then, on top of all of this, if anything more could happen to this family, the mom, Sarah, got diagnosed with breast cancer just months later. Obviously going through a very, very challenging period as a family, but coming out of this, they have decided to open up a card shop this September in Twin Falls, Idaho. It's going to be called Comeback Sports Cards. Very, very fitting name given the story. Their goal is to create a business that Ben can take over, fueled by the hobby that helped him heal. Ben is a Mariners fan. He's described by his parents as never complaining, never negative, and always giving 110%. And you know what? There's a lot of inspiring stories like this in the sports card hobby, right?
Yeah.
We've met Owen at the National. You know, the channel probably remembers him, you know, and we saw him again at the National this year. I did a trade with him. He's been recovering from a serious car accident. There was Gabe, who we met at the National this year, the 13-year-old who took over his dad's card shop. His dad had this card shop called Triple I Sports Cards in Moline, Illinois for like 30 years. And then his dad passed away. So 13-year-old Gabe, along with his grandmother, have taken over running the card shop. And we got to meet Gabe and visit with him at the National. A lot of really cool stories around cards. When you hear stories like this, Teapot, how do you feel about this?
These stories exist all over the place. I think it's great to talk about these stories and some positive stuff in general. This is the type of stuff that honestly needs to be highlighted a lot more often. And I meet people like that all the time in here too. We meet people at the National. We receive emails or get comments on our videos of people saying like, thanks for the content, thanks for the app, thanks for the card shop. This has really helped me get through some tough times. And that's why we call it the hobby. Because a lot of people, it means something to them. It helps take away anxiety, take their mind off of things, just get some good recreation, which is very therapeutic. And especially if you're doing something like trying to recover from a traumatic brain injury, it's inspiring. It really is. And the part that stands out to me here too is just like that always giving 110%, keeping a positive attitude. Meeting people who've gone through real tragedy and trauma and the resiliency, especially young people, when they demonstrate that it puts a lot in perspective, and it just makes you step back and go, you know, maybe just not getting to have lunch today wasn't that big of a deal. You know, wow, there's a lot bigger stuff going on. So I love these stories. I would love for us to keep talking about these and celebrating these types of things because it's a really cool one. And haven't been to Idaho yet. It's one of the few states I haven't been in. So maybe I'll make it out there at some point and hit up Twin Falls.
There you go. That would be great. It'd be cool to do that in a video sometime. What do you think, Carter?
Overall, this is just a good feel-good story. I love that we can highlight these types of stories on our channel, and I think I'm excited for them to open in September, but overall, I think they're battling a lot, and I think this is something that's just going to be a feel good.
There you go.
Yeah.
Totally agree. All right, well, Comeback Sports Cards. Guys, put it on your list to visit someday along with Triple I Sports Cards. Both have great stories and great teams behind them, and we certainly hope to get to visit both of them and get to meet Ben sometime in the future. All right, guys, what did you think of today's episode? Let us know in the comments, and go grab 20% off your first Arena Club slab pack by downloading the Arena Club app or going to arenaclub.com and using promo code SCI20 for 20% off. Thank you for watching. We'll see you soon with our next episode. Take care.